Hey, so here is Apollo's recap from last week. He has come a long way in focus and play and just being his outgoing self. So, right here is something I like to call play disengagement. So, not only are we doing bonding activities of doing play and getting energy out, also, dogs can play as rough or as crazy as you are okay with. As long as we have this pause button right here. So that right there was a pause. So essentially what it is I'm loading his name in and of itself as a command. So I say Apollo. Now you can see a moment where his brain is clicking. Ideally we say Apollo only once. He drops it out and sits and looks at you. Because he's a puppy, we're also building in that leave it or that negative marker of for his focus. So right there, again, I called his name, he spit out the toy, and he chose to look at me versus chasing the toy. No, I was playing with him with a couple different toys just to see if I could get different drives with him. And this is where even if I have the toy and we've been playing and it's not in his mouth, but I'm going to ask him for a sit and he has to give me eye contact. This is where I still have to focus. So it doesn't matter if it's in his mouth or not in his mouth. The idea is that sitting and looking is the default position for him. So whether I'm messing with him with playing with the toy, or it's actually active tug toy, or if we're doing a ball toss, if you check in with the human, eventually you'll get the thing that you want. Eventually you'll get the toy and get to play with it. And that's where, I let him have a victory lap around me. I give him some rubbins and some love and woohoo, good boy. But it's all about, hey, what are we doing? No, we still have springs for legs, and I haven't been able to completely get rid of that jumping. It's decreased, but it's still it's still in there. That's something that we're still working on. But I wanted to show you what that kind of play disengagement looks like. Now, this is an example of I had someone help me out working him on a slip lead, but also working with the dog with another distraction. So the dog right in front of the camera is named Cooper. He is a 1-year-old boxer mix. And then you have Mr. Apollo. So Apollo has these interesting reactions when we see other dogs. When we're on leash, when we're walking, and we're in an active mode, he does great, ignoring them. Totally, yep, let's do this thing. And you can see his little tail, like he's loving working on it. But he has this almost explosive reaction when he sees a dog or gets a little too close, or like his internal timer like ding clicks off, and then he's like bark 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 bark, I must bark and jump and kind of jump on you as much as I physically can. So having some neutrality with this, I see a dog but I can be calm. So right here we're working on, I can see another distraction and it is okay to be calm. I have to sit and I can focus. These are great ways to build up tolerance, but also build up how to have social interactions in a positive way. He has gotten a lot better than when he first came in, but this is something that's going to take some work, and I think it's also going to be based off of environment practice. So right here, it's a very controlled environment. He knows this is a very positive room, but if we're out on a patio, if we are out in public, and this is where the boys actually have been able to play together before. So, okay, let's go play after we say hi. And then right here, this is where we get a little too much. We pull them away and we decompress them again. Apollo goes from 0 to 120, which is fine, but we need to not always go to 120. We need to go to like 30, especially when we're playing with one dog. So that's where teaching him how to be excited, but not go all through the roof and stay focused. And right here, Ashley, she's one of our managers that's helping me out, is working on getting him to be calm and focused. Now you can see Cooper was the first one of like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And he does the typical boxer pop, pop with his legs. Cooper's working on the same thing, which is why we pulled them together. Both of these boys, I've actually had Apollo do some play times in the daycare yard just to get some of that social dog interaction, just so it reduces some of the intensity in him in a controlled, safe manner. But you can kind of see where, okay, let's walk, let's focus. When there's food involved, he's all about it. But we're also working on fading out those treats. So can we make it a gambling game of 2 out of 5 times I get a treat, 1 out of 3 times I get a treat? And even then we mix up what the treats are. Sometimes it's a high value treat. Sometimes it's a low value treat. It doesn't matter. It's just, ooh, what is this gambling game? So that way we can start getting predictability in his behaviors, and he's getting predictability of praise from us. Now, here is a little bit later snippet of us working on place. Now, place is where I don't teach wait or stay. I teach place as a catch-all for everything. So whether he's on a cot, whether he's on the bed, whether he's on the ground, it doesn't matter. Wherever you put him, he's basically glued to that spot until he gets a set release command. Now his set release command that we're working on is going to be Apollo okay. But this is where we're also working impulse control with another dog that's actively walking right next to me. Actively working with next to me, and I have to ignore it. So this is something that we're building on in different thresholds. I know I've sent you a couple videos of us doing place, but this is where you can kind of see, hey, here's two dogs that are not too dissimilar in age and breed, and how are they getting to focus? How are they getting to, be elevated, but staying under threshold, so staying under what's manageable for them. And both boys did pretty good. Now, one of the things I love about having another handler helping me is that the dog learns how to listen to whoever is holding the leash. So it's not just, the trainer or the treat lady, it's also, or just the owner, it's whoever has my leash, I have to focus. So that's an added layer of learning and complexity to training that I absolutely love. So that way Apollo knows it doesn't matter who asks him, it's whoever is holding that leash, I need to focus. And those expectations when I hear place is I have to stay here until I hear Apollo okay. There is about another minute of this video, and you can see him switching places with Cooper. So Cooper's going to go into place, and then Apollo gets to walk around and be the distraction, but also ignore that other dog. So he's doing really well and learning the expectation. He's just got a high drive. So that's where this next week we're putting on a big polish of how do we utilize that drive and address it, but at the same time we're working on our manners as a puppy. Let me know if you have any questions and enjoy the video.